Arthur Hayes just watched his own exchange announce its death. The same day, a lawsuit demanded 622.66 Bitcoin back, roughly $40 million. BitMEX is closing forever. Hayes co-founded it. He pleaded guilty to violating the Bank Secrecy Act. He got pardoned. 3 weeks after that lawsuit landed, he unveiled a brand new token, before its blockchain even exists. How does the same man keep asking you to trust first and prove it later? On July 23, 2026, BitMEX posted its own closure notice. New signups stopped immediately. Positions go reduce only starting August 26th. Every open position gets force closed on September 23rd. The same post added a fee. Users who leave a balance behind pay 1% a year or $50, whichever is greater. It also made one more claim: zero funds lost to hacking in 11 years of operating. Also on July 23rd, a proposed class action filed in federal court in New York. Plaintiffs BKX Services and David Namdar say BitMEX's liquidation engine kept customer collateral for itself. They allege trading during server freezes that locked users out. Total claimed 622.66 Bitcoin. A nearly identical case was filed back in 2020, then dropped without a ruling in 2025. Picture a bank required to flag suspicious money that simply doesn't. That's roughly what prosecutors said happened inside BitMEX for 5 years. On February 24, 2022, Hayes pleaded guilty to violating the Bank Secrecy Act. He paid a $10 million fine. He served probation, including 6 months of home confinement. The company itself, HDR Global Trading, was fined $100 million separately. On March 27, 2025, President Trump pardoned him completely. BitMEX wasn't some fringe platform. It invented the 100 times leverage perpetual swap back in 2014, copied by every major exchange since. Its closure blog bragged about 0 hacks in 11 years. Meanwhile, Hayes never really left crypto. He stayed chief investment officer of his own Maelstrom fund, even as BitMEX's chief executive, chief financial officer, and chief growth officer all walked out in July. Now widen the lens. On April 1st, 2026, a Solana lending protocol called Drift lost $285 million. Not over weeks, not over days, in about 12 minutes. Its total value locked collapsed from $550 million to $252 million, almost instantly. Analytics site DeFi Llama tracked the collapse in real time. Here's how it worked. No smart contract bug, no exotic exploit. Attackers phished the humans controlling Drift's emergency admin keys. They got pre-signed transactions approved, then held those using a feature called a durable knots, so they could fire later. Once inside, they faked collateral, tricked the price oracle, and drained real funds. Here's the first turn. $285 million gone, and the code wasn't what failed. It was the humans holding the keys. The next day, Hayes asked a pointed question online. Would native multi-signature wallets on Solana have stopped this at all? Blockchain investigators at Chainalysis called the pattern consistent with North Korea's hacking operation, attribution they still describe as preliminary. Drift had also recently removed a time-lock safeguard before the attack. Hayes framed his multi-sig question as curiosity, not an answer. Fair question. It's also one his next project, Flop Labs, hasn't answered about its own governance yet. 3 weeks later, a different alarm went off. On May 29, 2026, researcher Taylor Hornby, using Anthropic's Opus 4.8 model to help review the code, found a critical flaw inside Zcash's privacy pool. The disclosure ran through Shielded Labs, the group that helps coordinate Zcash's security. Picture a vault that can print its own counterfeit bills, with no camera ever running. That's the plain version. The flaw lived inside Zcash's Orchard pool since 2022, undetected for 4 years. Hornby wrote a complete working exploit. Zcash shipped an emergency hard fork, called NU 6.2, on June 3rd. Because of how the privacy pool hides transactions, nobody can prove whether it was ever actually used. Zcash patched it within days. The price didn't wait for reassurance. CoinDesk reported roughly 38% gone in 24 hours. BitMEX's own blog put the slide near 50% over 48 hours. Either way, a coin built on cryptographic certainty just proved it had none. Hayes didn't wait for proof either. On June 4th and 5th, he publicly dumped his entire Zcash position, along with Hyperliquid and Near. His stated reasoning: exploitation was extremely unlikely, but nobody could prove it was impossible. Privacy, he said, demands perfection. Here's the second turn. Hayes sold a token because its history couldn't be cryptographically proven clean. Then he built a company selling AI payments, with no published way to verify anything at all. Behind every chart is a person. Drift depositors watched half the protocol's value vanish in minutes. Zcash holders got caught in liquidation cascades they never saw coming. BitMEX traders are now racing two deadlines: reduce only by August 26th, forced closure by September 23rd, just to get their own money out. Then, on August 18th, Hayes resurfaced. He posted that he was coming out of retirement to lead a company called Flop Labs. The pitch? FLOP, a token he calls food for your AI agent, running on what he calls proof of useful inference. Think of it like opening a restaurant with no menu, no health inspection, and no listed address, just a promise the food is fair. As of this reporting, no white paper, no security audit, no published token supply, no smart contract address, no listed legal entity or headquarters. Hayes calls it a 100% fair launch, no venture capital, no pre-sale. Here's the strangest part. Hayes plans a massive airdrop in the fourth quarter of this year, before Flop's own blockchain even launches in early 2027. Tokens, with no chain to live on yet. The outlet Crypto.news already warned readers about fake flop contracts circling the announcement. One more open thread. Reporting from Protos put BitMEX's insurance fund at roughly $270 million, money meant to cover shortfalls. Protos asked what happens to that fund after shutdown. As of this reporting, BitMEX hasn't answered. It's unclear whether that money goes back to traders or somewhere else entirely. Here's the third turn. BitMEX is dying under a 622 Bitcoin lawsuit. In that same stretch, its co-founder launched an unaudited token before its own blockchain exists, asking strangers to trust him first and check the paperwork later. Step back, and the pattern isn't one hack. It's a habit. Weak compliance let BitMEX's laundering gaps run for years. Phished humans, not broken code, drained drift. Privacy math that can't audit its own past broke Zcash's promise. Even a presidential pardon didn't erase that habit. Now a pre-chain token asks for faith before proof, again. If you're chasing this airdrop, treat it like any pre-launch token. No audit, no address, no guarantee. If you hold crypto anywhere, ask who controls the emergency keys and whether one phished signature could move everything. Proof should come before the pitch, not after the damage. The open questions stay open. Where do FLOP tokens even sit before the chain exists? Could Zcash ever prove its privacy pool stayed clean? Would native multi-signature wallets have stopped drift? Or was it always the humans, not the tool? Figures here come from BitMEX's own blog, port filings, Shielded Labs disclosure, and reporting from CoinDesk and Cointelegraph. Full links live in the description. Which corporate failure should we open the file on next? This has been Corporate Breach.